What is up, everybody? Welcome to today. It's a little it's a little cloudy out, but that's okay. I'm trying to keep the mood light and smiley, even though it's a bit dreary out. So today I thought, since it's dreary, I was gonna show you how I decide and book flights when I'm doing any sort of travel, whether it's group travel or solo travel. I always book my flights on my own. And I just wanted to do this so that for anyone who is ready to travel, ready to go somewhere, even if it's like a little hop next door, Um, I feel that a lot of people get stuck at the flight. And so I'm just gonna go through my process, how I'm deciding. And the reason I'm doing this today is because I need to buy my flights out of Kona because the rest of my adventure is going to begin in about a week or so. So I usually book flights well in advance, but since this year of no plans is literally that, I don't really have plans. So I'm kind of making them along the way. And when things come up, I then start buying tickets and accommodations and things like that. So how do I, for today, I'm going to show you that I am buying a ticket to Maui. So I'm literally just hopping islands. It's going to be super simple. But when I leave Maui, I am going to head west. I'm very familiar with Thailand, so I was thinking I would maybe go to Bangkok. However, after looking at weather and other conditions, I might go to Bali instead. And the reason I'm thinking of these two places, for one, I want to go somewhere where I can live for fairly cheap, where I can just decompress. I don't have any responsibilities. I can just really settle into my days and have a little bit of structure, but also have time to really work out. I would love to work on my health and fitness. I would love to have time to get a massage at least once a week, maybe 5 times a week. And in places like Bali and Thailand and Asia in particular, you can get fairly inexpensive massages. I would also really like to focus on my diet, and I really think I love the food in Bali. I love the food in Thailand. I think those are my two top choices moving forward because I also know these two places. I'm fairly familiar with getting around. It's, I don't want to say easy for me, but finding accommodation, even super last minute, is pretty easy. And once you kind of know just a little bit about a place, I feel like making those steps to book accommodations and other things, you can really start to, it just gets easier and easier. So the reason I'm leaning more towards Bali than Bangkok is because right now is burning season in Thailand. And so the air quality, it's really hot for one thing, and then the air quality is lower. And I don't have respiratory issues. However, I've been in Montana at the end of a super hot summer in the middle of a fire season where it's not recommended to go outside for more than an hour or two because the air quality is so poor. So I know all about burning season. I know it's different, in Thailand it's because they're burning crops and getting ready for the new planting, but and in Montana it's wildfires and so it's definitely different, but same concept. The air quality is not as good. I feel like I would like to spend more time outside. And if the air quality is going to be low in Thailand, I would rather be somewhere like Bali where I can spend more time outside. So that's the one of the reasons why I'm picking uh where I think I'm gonna pick Bali over Thailand. Um, the next thing I wanted to actually show you today is flights. So once I sort of pick a destination, or even if I'm still choosing between the two destinations, oftentimes I look at flights because flying to Thailand could be $2,000 to get there, and flying to Bali could be $800. So sometimes even just the price of the flight determines where I'm going. Now, I know for most people, you're booking round trip tickets. This year is different for me because I'm, for lack of a better phrase, flying by the seat of my pants. So all my tickets are going to be one ways. And this is actually pretty new for me. I mean, I've booked one ways before, but always with the intention of coming back to home base or wherever I'm living at the time. And so this concept of kind of like keep going is new to me. So, well, if you don't know me, my name is Katie. I'm currently in my year of no plans. It's like a gap year for me. I hope you've joined me on some of my other videos. Otherwise, this video might not make any sense. We'll see. But now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do a screen share and show you how I look for tickets because I think this is super important. And again, this is where a lot of people get bogged down. Let me just. Oh, oh. I don't know why it's taking me a minute. Here we go. Okay, so here is the first thing I do every single time I look for a flight. I go to Google Flights. I don't check any other website. I go straight to Google Flights. And here's why. Google Flights is great to just give you an overview of like which planes are actually flying in and out of that place, right? So I'm going to pick one way. I'm going from Kona to, and if you don't know, like there's three letters that every airport goes by. If you don't know those three letters, you can just type, Maui, Hawaii. So their airport code is OGG. And I was thinking about leaving on the 16th. All right. And so here is what Google Flights will give you. So you can see Southwest flies, Hawaiian Airlines. You can view more flights. But basically, the two airlines that are flying between the islands are Hawaiian and Southwest. And if you look at it, there's one stop. So this particular flight actually takes you through Honolulu. So if you want a stop along the way, which makes no sense to me, but it's there. Most people inter-island are gonna pick the non-stops. So for me, I wouldn't even look at any of the one stops. I would only focus on the non-stops. So it looks like I can fly Southwest for $104, or I can fly Hawaiian for $180. And then you can see right here what it includes. So this is your one carry-on bag included, two checked bags included in $104. This is a question I get asked all the time. People will buy a plane ticket, they'll be like they'll be packing for their flight. Sometimes they're even in the airport, and then they'll say, I don't understand. Like, I paid for my ticket, but it doesn't include any luggage. And now they want me to pay like $300 for all my luggage. And it's very important to check if luggage is included. And so with Hawaiian, this doesn't make sense to me because it's more expensive and it doesn't include any checked luggage. However, let's select this flight. Yeah, and it says one free carry-on, one first check bag available for a fee. Now, here's where I insist people book direct with the carrier. So, look, you can get it for cheaper with bookwithly.com or book with HopeGoo. No offense to any of these third-party sellers, but I have found in my experience that booking through third party oftentimes creates a lot of problems. So, luggage, for example, you book with third party. The reason this is probably cheaper is it probably includes no luggage, or you don't get to pick your seat, or there might be a stop. That might not actually be the flight that they're going to put you on. They're actually going to put you on a different flight that has a stop in Honolulu and then brings you back. So I I always go direct to the carrier, which Alaska Airlines is partnered with Hawaiian. And this is where I always, always check the date. Yeah, Monday, February 16th. Check the times, make sure, because if it's like a 6 a.m. flight, I gotta make sure I like to be at the airport an hour and a half, 2 hours in advance. Some international flights, I try to be at the airport 3 hours in advance. So remember, if you're booking a super early morning flight and you have to take a taxi to get there and say that taxi drive is an hour, you gotta account for that. So if you're leaving at 6 a.m. and you want to be there 3 hours early and it's an hour drive, you're leaving at, what is that, so 2 a.m. So up, you're up ready out the door at 2 a.m. That's That's brutal, guys. So check the times. Or sometimes the landing time is the one you want to be paying attention to because the landing time, if you're being picked up by a friend from the airport, are they still at work? Are you flying in at rush hour traffic? Um, same with rideshare, Uber, Lyft. If you're in Asia, they use oh my God, why am I forgetting this? I'll think of it. Sure, I'll think of it by the end. But anyway, Grab, Grab car they use in Asia. So anyway, you got to think if you're landing at 5, you're like, yeah, 5's great. Well, now you're in rush hour traffic. So it might take you 3 hours to get to the hotel or your friend's house or whatever you're doing. But if you land at 6, it might only take you an hour to get to the hotel or your friend's house or whatever. So always keep like if there's flexibility in flight time, keep that in mind. And so this says, price summary, total price, blah, blah, blah. And then it wants you to either sign in and check out or continue as a guest. So that is how I look for a flight. And I actually took it one step further than I wanted to because I feel like I just don't want to complicate it and I don't want to add too many layers to this video because I want this to be very easy. Very easy. I'm going to stop my share. So that's how I decide. And when I was sharing my screen, I put in like where I'm at and where I'm flying to. Sometimes when I'm just researching, like I would put in, say, Maui, because I'm going to be in Maui, to Bali or Maui to Bangkok, and then see what the difference in flight airfares are. And also the time. Like sometimes you might fly one place and it takes you 48 hours to get there, but you could fly to another place and it takes you 10 hours to get there. So even flight time, some time will determine where I go. But usually, I think some of the most important things when you're trying to decide place is weather, activities, and yeah, weather and activities essentially. Like if you want to go diving, you don't want to go somewhere where it's the worst diving season. You want to go somewhere where it's the best diving season. And oftentimes around the world, one place might be off season for diving and another place might be on season for diving. So that's always, and I'm not saying this for everyone out there because I know not everyone's a scuba diver, but same with, I mean, if you're going somewhere to kayak a cool canyon or if you're going somewhere to rock climb or if you're going somewhere to see just the cultural sites. Another thing, if you go during rainy season, um, hotel rates might be super low, but you're going to be walking around at all those cultural sites in the rain. So you kind of got to decide which best suits you for what you're trying to do. I hope that was a good just start to everything. I just really wanted to kind of show you my process and verbalize my process, how I think, how I decide which direction I'm going to go and why, and then how I do it. Um, I think because a lot of people ask me about booking flights and how I choose destinations and all sorts of questions. I think I'm going to start to work on a resource and make it easier for someone who's just getting into solo travel or someone who's just wanting to travel and doesn't know where to start. I think this resource will help with a lot of the step by step. And if that's something you're interested in, I would love to hear a comment of what you would like included in that resource because oftentimes what seems very easy to me or second nature to me. Like booking a flight, I feel like for me at this point in my life is very second nature. And if booking a flight is super hard for you or it feels daunting or you don't go on the trip because you don't book the flight, I would love to hear in the comments like where you get stuck so I can include that in the resource and make it very well rounded for like people who need guidance. So thanks for being here. I'll talk to you tomorrow.